Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today, we're joined by a very special guest. He's one of the highest recruited athletes in the entire nation. He's a member of the back-to-back state champion Cocoa Tigers, and he's a four-star defensive end commit to Florida State University. Today, we have with us Javion Hilson. Javion, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Yes, sir.
Absolutely, anytime, man. But before we get into things, just tell us how's the offseason been and how have you been working on your craft and, as a team trying to get back to where you guys left off.
The all season been great. We were getting after it as a team. We were working hard in the weight room, just getting after it. Lifting weights. Doing a lot of running. In stadiums. Doing a lot of garrisons and stuff. But now we pretty doing good. Like as a team and stuff, we all been like working with each other. Lifting each other up. Pushing each other just to keep going.
Absolutely. We're all aware that the goal for the Cocoa Tigers and everyone is to always make sure to compete for state. But with the amount of success you guys have had recently, how do you guys make sure to not get comfortable and to, stay focused on the goal and doing it again?
So right, exactly. So basically, like we just keep going. Like we look at last year and stuff, and like we just look at like how to get better, like better after last year. But like we always been hungry as a team. When you hungry, you keep eating it, keep eating. You get too full, you just go chill and like not want to work. But we just dogs, and we just gonna keep working and get going to that third peak. We hungry.
Absolutely. And you're going into a big senior season. You're already one of the highest recruits in the entire country. And the defense just keeps getting better and better. And you're going to be one of the leaders that this defense is going to be looking to for, guidance and certain situations in games. How do you feel, stepping into that role and being one of the leaders of this very good Cocoa team?
Now I feel great. Everybody, look up to me and stuff. And, I'm just go keep like, especially like what we was talking about in the weight room. I always make sure like the young guys, make sure like keeping them on track and make sure like they know what they're doing and stuff. Cause we gonna need them for this year. The upcoming like juniors and stuff. Just making sure they know their stuff, make sure they like watch film and know the personnels and all that. But it's gonna be a good season this year. Trust me. We'll go on that third peak for sure.
Absolutely. I've been covering the Cocoa now for, gosh, it seems like 5 years now. But I remember 2 seasons ago, before this most recent state title, I remember always keeping an eye on you, always seeing your numbers and things like that. But you took a huge leap this past season. And I mean, it just seems like you keep getting better and better. What do you attest most of that to? Is it coaching staff? Is it just, I mean, you can say yourself, it's the work that you put in, just things like that. How have you been able to take this massive leap in your talent and your craft?
So first, it started off with the track shot. The James Folston senior, that's the track coach. He the D line and the track coach. So it started off with him. He was like Hilson, man, you definitely got to get in that track. Cause I mean, like my sophomore year, I wasn't really stacking up the numbers like that. But my junior year, you see a bit like higher than like last year, my sophomore year. So the track definitely helped out, like running like the 100 meters. Getting out the blocks, the blocks, explosion, and all that. Cause when you're in the hurdles, it helps with your get off. So my get off got faster. Getting off the ball. Being twitchy and like getting them offensive linemen off me and stuff. Cause the offensive linemen, they don't like to run like that. You can easily run by them.
Right.
That would have all happened doing the track,
Really?
and that helped me going sideline to sideline, getting them sacks and getting them hurries. Yes, sir.
Wow, I didn't know that. I ask players that all the time, and you're one of the only players that has really given a lot of credit to the track. So it's interesting, and we're seeing it on the field. So maybe some players can take some tips here. But talk about Coach Folston a little bit. He's a former NFL player, former great in this county when it comes to football. It's Space Coast Hall of Famer, you name it. What's it like been learning from him and learning from a guy that's made it to the big leagues?
No, I've been great. So I remember like when I first came in my sophomore year, like during the summertime, he took me underneath his wing and he like a father figure to me. I remember like when I first came here, I really ain't know like defense and stuff like that. I was just kind of like I was at a school, they would just throw me out there, ain't know nothing. But being with him, he broke it down, he broke a symbol to me and stuff, and he made the game a lot easier for me. And like staying out to practice and just working with me, and making sure I got better and better and better. And then like I said with the track, all that track translated to the field, and you seen what I had last year. Dominating, getting sacks. Disruptive in the backfield. Yes, sir.
No, absolutely. Watching you play. I mean, you talk about because there's a lot of things between the difference between being a rusher and someone that sets the edge. I mean, you definitely set the edge. You can, shift your opponent over, stop the run, get to the pass rusher. Your versatility is there, and I mean that's no secret as to why you're one of the top guys in the country. But after winning state championship, you made a big decision to commit to Alabama. You ended up switching that obviously to Florida State, but talk about that moment and what, I mean, obviously Nick Saban, the move probably had a lot to do with that, but just talk about that whole, that moment and then to where you are now with your commitment.
So that moment, so like when we won state, I know it been like a special like moment for me and stuff, like to commit, because everybody was like, Hilson, we could go commit. So I was like, I'm gonna commit after the state game. So we won state, we beat Bradford in the state game, and then after that, I was like, so I'm gonna announce I'm gonna commit to Alabama, and then after that, I was like, dang, after we won state, and then like it was like January, that's when I found out Nick Saban left and stuff because he retired, and then I was like, shoot. Like, cause like that's when like the new staff, they had all new staffs coming in. And I was like, I'm just gonna decommit and just go to Florida State. Cause Florida State always been my dream school and stuff. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So talk about that now. You've built that relationship. Obviously, now you got Mike Norvell and that incredible staff over there at Florida State. What really stood out to you is it, I mean, you go down the list of defensive ends that have been drafted out of Florida State. I mean, Jared Verse, Brian Burns, most recently, Braden Fisk. I mean, you go down the line, it's no secret that they develop some of the best defensive ends that enter the big league. Is that a big factor? Is
Yes,
it
sir.
being home? Things, just talk about that a little bit.
So like Florida State, I remember I went there like my sophomore year, like the first time ever at Florida State. Walking. I was just walking to the facility. I seen Coach Mike Norvell. He was like, Hilson, man, what's up, man? I just got done watching you on film, man. You a beast on the field. And then like every time I step on Florida State like turf, I just look around at the stands and I'm like, yeah, I can visualize myself making plays and like sacks on the field and all that. Cause like every time like when I was a little kid, I'll watch the games and stuff like that and seeing like the crowds be lit, the nose chop and all that other
Yep.
stuff. And like that's a big factor too. Like they just had Jared Verse, and they for have a next one. Patrick
Yep.
Payton. Yeah, it's just like you keep going. They had Jermaine Johnson, and then that's what I look at too. Like the scheme, they run the same scheme as us too, like a 4-2-5. Like they see me as a true defensive end. So yeah, I love that. A lot of first rounders. That yeah, yes sir.
No, absolutely. I mean, you hit it right on the head. Just talk about some of the things that when you're going through your process, because obviously, you still have a whole senior season ahead of you. You're going to visit schools. You've been at UCF recently, but as you're going to some of these schools and maybe still keeping an eye out, what are some things that, check off your checklist? What are some of the things at the top, or what are some things that you really prioritize when you're looking at these schools?
So first, I look at the academics. I always check, like I always ask them, like, what's the graduation rate and stuff like that. Some be high and some be low. And then I always look like the coaches, like was they here day one before all this? And then I look at like the defensive scheme and see where they best put me in. Because some schools see me as an outside linebacker, dropping to the flat. And, I like to get upfield. That with the money, rushing the pass upfield and stopping the run. So that's what I look at too. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so talk about that, the fit, and is it also, playtime? Is it also just the development? What are some other things that really, check things off for you when picking? Obviously, you picked Florida State, so is it getting you to that next level? Is it playtime right away? Touch on that a little bit.
So it's like, yeah, that too. I look at like who produced the most defense, especially like me. Like I play defensive end. Like who produced like the most defensive lines, and like work out fit in the system and stuff. Like Florida State see me as a true defensive end. They said like I got to put on some little more weight, like 245. I ain't that. I'm a little close to that right now. know, just like little stuff like that, like who can like develop me to get to the next level and stuff. And like watching film, like every time I go to Florida State, I was just there last week Wednesday. I was working out with Coach JP, the defensive line coach, and Odell there. Odell was there too, and I was just like we were sitting down and watching film, and like how can I get better with this? Like we was talking about the cross chop, I can slap the back, slap the back, and like bend a little bit more. Yes, sir. He was talking about sets too. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
see, they're already getting you better before you even step on campus. So that's super cool to hear. But we're talking about your senior season. We already talked about that a little bit. How are you getting better right now in the off season to and people watching are like, well, how can he get even better? Of course, you can always get better. You're still one of the top players in the country. How do you feel like you can still improve your game this upcoming year?
So definitely, like, so during the off season, I just been looking at my film and stuff and like see how can I get better. Like I always look at like, so this is what I was working on get offs, like using my hands, keep working my hands, looking at my target. And I was just working like squeezing down because when you get a down block, you gotta squeeze it down. You get too much upfield, that's when they go running that gap. So you just staying tight and holding the edge. Just doing my assignment and alignment. And yeah, yes, that's all I've been doing, working my get off. and I've been on the track too. You know, been floating out them blocks too. That would, you know, you can't forget what got you there. So yeah, got to keep staying to that.
Absolutely, man. Just talk a little bit about, there's so many good players, so much good talent, and then there's always 5 to 10 players that really separate themselves. Your whole high school journey, what have you had to do to get to this point, to get to a point where you're significantly separating yourself from the rest of the pack? What is it, is it whether you're hitting the books, just extra work, just studying film, listening to your coaches? What do you test all of it to get to where you are right now?
So like first, like so it was like my ninth grade year. I was like 160. Everybody thought I was always this big. I was like 160 my high school like freshman year and stuff. So
Wow.
I was like I got to gain some weight cause I always be playing defensive end. I was like I need to gain some weight. So I just ever since then I would just look at like defensive ends like in like college. And I'd be like Danny like 240 plus. I was like, yeah, I gotta definitely gain some weight. So I got on like this meal plan. And I just kept eating, working out, eating, listening to my coach, Coach Folsom.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was like, he gave me this meal plan, and I just got on it. I just kept working, attacking the weight room, and just being coachable, listening to him and stuff like that. And the track helps me too. You can't eat a lot. You gotta, you can't eat too much. You'll be slow. That when
Mm.
the track come in and it helps you maintain that weight. You can go sideline to sideline,
And the
QB
cardio too. Probably
cardio,
helps a lot with cardio.
all that too.
Yeah,
Gotta have
so
stamina. Gotta have stamina.
yeah, especially playing on the D line. I mean, that's you
Right.
can't take a play off because,
And, mm-mm. Ain't gonna
exactly.
look good on
So what no, go ahead.
I said ain't gonna look good on film. Nah.
No, exactly. It definitely isn't. So at what point in your high school career did you realize, okay, I got something here. I can really, do this for a living if I really stick to it. Was there a certain game, a certain moment, a career high game? At what moment did it really click for you that you're like, okay, I'm a little different?
Ain't gonna lie, it was my sophomore year. So right, when we won state, we went to Tallahassee, and
Yep.
then we was playing Florida State High School, and it was like in overtime. So it was 38. We was up 38, and they had 31. So they were close to the goal line. So right, I was like, come on, Hilson, man, you gotta make a play right here. You gotta make a play. So that's when they put me in the game, and they was finna score. So right, I had a down block. As soon as I seen the ball high, I had a down block. I squeezed it down, and then I met the running back right there. I tackled him. I felt the ball, so I ripped it out. Ball came out, power him land right on it, and we won state. Boom like that. That's when the moment clicked for me. Right, that was like, yeah, this is definitely for you, Hilson. Yes, sir. But you got to. I was like, after that one, I was like, you definitely got to get better and all that. And that's when the offers was rolling in too. After that, as soon as I made the script fumble to win state, that's when
I
it
mean,
was.
that's yeah, when you're, big time players make big time plays in big time moments, and talk about the biggest moment possible, especially for your high school career. And you're still going into your final season, which is truly remarkable. All right, so I recently had Javen Boggs with us, your teammate. He gave us a Cocoa Tigers Mount Rushmore. I'm gonna ask you to do the same. Who do you have on your Cocoa Tigers football Mount Rushmore?
Yes, sir. So like, all due respect, like it's been a lot of greats that came out of Coco. Like it's a lot of history like the Coco. But this my Mount Rushmore right here. So I'm gonna go with Bob Anderson. He was a nice halfback, All American. So second, I'm gonna go with James Folsom Sr. Nasty linebacker and DN. He played both. And then third, I'm gonna go with Tavoris Folston. Yeah, he the best running back that came out of Coco. He could tote that rock. He played at Notre Dame. He was nasty with the rock. And
Okay.
then you would go with Javion Hilson, best defensive end that came out of Coco. Big
Hey, I,
nation.
yeah, man. I like it. I like it. You definitely know your Coco history, and we love to see that. Is that something that's really like instilled in the locker room, or is that something you guys do on your own? Because a lot of players they know some of their school history, but I mean, you really dug deep there and really gave some credit to some legends there.
No, it's just like the coaches and stuff. The coaches tell me and stuff like that. I always do my research before, I like ask and stuff like that too. So yeah, it's been a lot of greats, definitely. I respect all the great players that came out of Coco. I know it's a ton. It's like a lot. So, sure.
Before we let you go, any players that you really keep an eye on, in the pros or in college that you really model your craft after?
Oh yeah, definitely. I love to watch Jared Verse. I always watch Jared Verse for like a game, like before say we have a Friday game. I always watch Jared Verse. He's a similar player like me, twitchy off the ball, very explosive, can use his hands very well, can stop the run. Disruptive in the backfield. I like Hassan Reddick. Same thing. Like He played with the Eagles, number 7, Hassan Reddick. You know, he nasty, twitchy off the ball too. Like Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, all them boys, they pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're all fast. So I assume they all had track in their past as well.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, once again, we appreciate a few minutes of your time. Any shout outs you want to give out to teammates or some people we can keep an eye out for on the field before we let you go?
First, I want to give a big shout out to Coach Foster because, like, without Coach Foster, I wouldn't be right here. You know, I know I was like one time I was at a camp, but it was like my ninth grade year coming into my sophomore year. I was at a camp. He spotted me at the camp. He was like, "Man, you should come to Coco," and I trust him ever since. You know, I want to give a big shout out to Coach Diesel. That's our DC at Coco. You know, I love him. Yes, sir. He helped me a lot too. And that's the play caller. He make all the stunts and all that. You gotta definitely know what you're doing with him. You know, big shout out to Coach Snyder. I want to thank him a lot too because he believed in me when I first got here too. And I want to shout out to my teammates too for pushing me every day and all that. Yes, sir. Shout out to God too, my mom, my family, and all that. Yes, sir.
Very well said, man. Very well said. And we're excited to watch you guys this upcoming season. And we wish you guys the best of luck as you guys chase that 3-peat.
Yes, sir. You already know 3-peat. Yes, sir.